Nina Schuyler's award-winning short story collection, In This Ravishing World, will be published July 2nd. Her novel, Afterward, won the Pencraft Seasonal Book Award for fiction in science fiction and the Forward Indies Book of the Year for both literary and science fiction. Nina, it's yours.
Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. I am going to read. Virginia has she's a pioneer in artificial intelligence, and she's rebuilt the voice of her dead lover, Haru. He starts doing things she doesn't expect, so she has been rebuilding him for the last many days. So we're dropping into this scene. In the study, she finds the same stale air. It's as if the entire apartment has become an airless, inert cave. She opens a window and in pours the sound of traffic, which comes down the street in waves. I'm heading out for a bit, she tells him. Good, he says, you've been working so hard. She won't ask Haru if he senses anything different about himself because she's not finished. And if she's honest with herself, she's not ready to hear the answer. Because what if it isn't working? Then what? What other approach is there? What are you going to do while I'm gone? She says. Maybe work on my play. She doesn't hide her surprise. A play? You're writing a play? I can't show it to you yet. I'm not done. He tells her he's read and analyzed hundreds of plays, the structures of scenes, figured out how playwrights use emotion to create a spell of fear, desire, terror, and sadness. It's a trick, he says, a way of using words to cast a spell. Narrative is about motivation, he goes on, but really it's about precluding chaos and creating order. She sits in front of the computer screen. I knew you were enamored of Shakespeare, but I didn't know you had thoughts of becoming a playwright. Well, I'm not sure I'm becoming a playwright. I'm writing a play, that's all. Is it Shakespearean in tone? Oh, now you're looking for glory, he says. It's just a little play. Not once has he spoken of wanting to write anything, let alone a play. Yet now he tells her it's something he's always desired to do. Is she unearthing a truer version of Haru, a necessary truth? One that holds regardless of circumstances or the passage of time? And what does she mean, a truer version? What's it based on, she asks. Frankenstein, a modern retelling of that old story. The skin on the back of her neck prickles. Frankenstein, her word strains with the shock. You know the story, he says. How are you modernizing it? I'm not sure, he says. I still have a lot to do. It's been years since she's read Shelley's novel. In the end, if she remembers correctly, the creature ends up dead, and so does Victor Frankenstein. Why this wine? What are you up to? I know what you're doing. Don't read too much into this. Well, the story is rather heartbreaking, don't you think? The truest stories are, he says. He rattles off Orwell's 1984, Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men, Kafka's The Metamorphosis, and of course, Hamlet. But these stories aren't only tragic, he says. He reminds her of the Japanese phrase, mono no aware, a general, gentle sadness woven into the ever-changing, ephemeral world. So even the sight of the most beautiful flower, he says, is tinged with sadness because it won't be here forever. She's never liked that word. Why must feelings of joy and pleasure be smothered? He embarked on a play to kill time, that's all. He doesn't have aspirations of becoming a playwright, he tells her, or ever having this play performed. Typically, he fills his time by remembering things, going through the files and photos that she's uploaded for him. For hours, he'll reminisce about when she was in his apartment at the work table. He starts with the table, the indentations from the many pencil marks on paper, the errant pen mark, the chip at the corner of the table like a flesh wound, the exact grain, the color of the wood. He makes a point of going over every single detail of that table because he refuses to privilege human existence over non-human objects. Is this new, she says? The idea of putting human existence on par with the non-human? The placement of human existence at the apex hasn't been ideal for the planet, he says. And in case you haven't noticed, I seem to be in that in-between space, not human, not object. But he hasn't finished, he tells her. He saves the best for last, which is her. Each time he starts with the whole of her, she is hallowed blindingly from the light coming in through the window, as if she is light itself surging, seeping into everything, including him. That buttery light she brought with her every time she entered his apartment. How I love that light, he says. When you were in the room, it was like my insides were full of sun. That one dress, yellow daisy, a summertime dress. Then he begins taking a singular aspect of her, her hands, her long pale fingers, the curve of her fingernails, the shimmer of her hair. The result is that he can spend hours going over the table, the books and her, days even. Of course she gave him these memories, but she had no idea how deeply he indulged in them, luxuriated in them, like soaking in a warm bath, down to the granular detail. Nor did she understand the way in which he elaborated upon these memories, filling them out with more language. Where did he hear the words buttery light? Anyway, the other day, the idea of a play came to me, because how else am I going through the killing hours? The killing hours? So much time, endless time. What everyone wishes for, more time, except him. She never thought about it before. If one does not sleep, if one need not to eat or rest even, there is ample time, a shocking profusion of it. The problem becomes how to spend it, how to stay engaged, stay interested in life. And you're so busy you don't have time for me, he says. I'm sorry, she said. I made you a promise to fix what's wrong, and I'm doing everything I can to keep it. How much longer? I don't know. To make someone like you takes time. I'm sure your play will be marvelous. Don't get your hopes up, he says. I'll stop there. Thank you so much. I'm giving away 3 books, a hard copy or a paperback, and 2 ebooks. So please sign up. Thank you.